Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is time to update my rolling project pan, which is a project that I do every single year on my channel. It is probably one of my favorite projects as well because I have a goal for every single product in this project to finish, which is obviously very exciting. It is nice for me too because I get to roll out products out of my collection and not just, get a couple uses here and there. So I do have quite a good update today. I'm very excited to share with you the progress. I'm working on 10 products in this project, so I will talk you through all 10. But before I do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I always start with the products that have been in the longest in the project, and we're kicking it off with my blush, which is the Frat Boy blush from The Balm. I'm rolling the footage what it's been looking like, and this has been in since the beginning of the year, so I've been working on it for quite a long time. And this is definitely one of the more consistent products in this project. I reach for it, 25 to 30 times at least every single month for the most part. There's a couple months more recently where I reach for it a little bit less, but that's because I rolled in some other blushes into other projects. But overall, I have been getting some really good progress on this blush. It is, however, also a really large blush, which means that it's moving quite slowly. But I was eventually able to hit pan after a whopping 156 uses in the project, and I have since then continued expanding the pans. This is what it looked like last month, so you can see that I did have that pan again, and it was getting a little bit larger, but I still have so much product left in here, and I have since then used this blush 17 times, and this is what it looks like today. So I'm really happy with the progress. I have kind of come to the conclusion that I won't be able to finish this blush this year, which is a little bit of a shame, but I'm doing my best and I'm working on it still. I don't have as many uses on this as I had previously. Like I said, I usually sit between 25 and 30 uses on this blush, but I have been doing a little bit less more recently. This is the blush right there, and there is a really big dip around the pan as well. Yeah, I do wear this one quite regularly, but there's a couple of different reasons why I'm not reaching for this one as much as I have previously. First up, it is more of a spring-summer blush. It's been working really nicely in the beginning of the year, but moving into the autumn and winter now, I do feel like this is a little bit more kind of corally, and again, it goes more with warm tone looks. So I'm probably going to wear it a little bit less, and also kind of experiment with the rest of my blush collection, which I have been neglecting massively this year, obviously because I'm panning this blush. I've also rolled in 2 different blushes into my deco panning, so that also takes away some usage from this blush. But I will try to continue reaching for this one at least 15 times every single month, which would be about, half of the month. But yeah, this is sticking around in the project, and it will definitely stay until the end of the year. The next product that we have is my Chanel blush, and it's currently housed in this Laura Mercier container. I'm gonna roll the footage what it has been looking like, but as you can see, I am now hosting it in my Laura Mercier container because I did have to repress it, and when I did repress it, it worked for like a month, but then it started crumbling really badly, and I never had that happen with a powder product before, but it just was not a formula that suited repressing at all. So because of that, I did crush it up, and I'm now been using it as a loose powder. I think hopefully around now you can see like kind of the end progress, and again it is now in this container. I have been reaching for it in here for the last 2 months, and I do have some progress lines there on the side. As you might be able to see, I'm not quite done with this powder. There is a little bit down left in there. I do have a sifter in here, so I can't fully show you the powder, but I was really hoping to have this powder done by this update. It is a little bit deep for me, so I mainly now use it to set like the perimeter on my face. I can't really use it all over my face, and that's also why it goes a little bit slower, but yeah, you can see that there is a little bit of powder left in there. So I think this one will be done by next month. I did reach for 24 times in the past month, so most of the time I did my makeup, and I'm going to continue to do so until this is done. So those 2 products have been in since the beginning of the year, but moving forward, the rest of them have rolled in throughout the year at some point. And the next product is my LYS bronzer, which has been in for 7 months now. I rolled in this product and the next 2 at that update, so it was a really good one. But I'm going to roll the footage of what this one has been looking like. It is this really beautiful kind of quite warm tone bronzer, and it's also a little bit deeper. It is in the shade light, not very light, but despite being like the light shade, I do find this one quite deep, but I can make it work for me. I did figure out kind of after a couple of months working this one that I like mixing it with the next product, just because the next product, which is my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder, it's of course a sculpting kind of contour powder, so it's quite cool tone and it's also lighter than this bronzer. So mixing the two together works out perfectly as like more of a neutral type of bronzer. I did a pan on this one after 101 uses in the project, and I have of course again continued expanding the pan since then. This is what the product looked like last month, and I have reached for this one since then, but not as much as I usually do. Again, I've been having quite a high usage in this product previously, but in the past month I only reached for it 14 times, and this is what it looks like today. So I do hope that the pan has expanded. I have not checked the footage yet, but I have reached for it, but again, just not as much as normally. The reason for that is because I was actually multitasking and eyeshadowing my pan palette as a bronzer. So if you saw my update that went up yesterday, you would have seen that. But that took away from the usage on this bronzer here. So yeah, that is it right there. The pan is getting bigger, but I do still have a lot of product left in here. It is relatively thin around the pan, but each of these corners do have quite a lot of product left. It is such a weird shaped pan that I feel like once I have worn down like all of the center, I will have to repress it because it is harder to get into those corners, but I'm still a long way away from that. Do I think you can finish this one before the year is up? I am not sure. I hope so. It would be amazing to have this bronzer out this year, but again, I'm not that confident yet. But I will do my very best and just keep going with it. And since I now have finished the eyeshadow in my pan palette, spoiler alert, I can focus in on this product and do my very best. So this will be my go-to bronzer for the rest of the year, and we just have to see how far I can get with it. So I already mentioned the next product a little bit, and that is my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder. I have mine in the shade Light. So I rolled this one in at the same time as the bronzer, but I did not reach for this one nearly as much in the beginning. I was really struggling with it until I realized that I could mix it with the bronzer. I only had 17 uses on it in the first 3 months it was doing the project, so it was moving very, very slowly. But since that point, I have definitely stepped up my usage. I have been working on this, and it does have a really decent dip, but as you can see throughout the progress, I have not hit the pan on it yet. So this is what it looked like last month. Again, you can see that dip hopefully in the video, otherwise you just have to take my word for it, but it did have a pretty decent dip. Since then I have reached for this one 14 times, same as the bronzer, and this is what it looks like today. So unfortunately still no pan, but there is definitely a really, really big dip in this product. I have no idea how deep this pan is, so every time I'm going to use this one, I do kind of like look for a pan, but so far no pan, and I'm just gonna have to continue working on it. So yeah, this is the product here now. Hopefully, I don't know if you can pick up that dip at all. I am trying to show you. I think there you can see it, but I do reach for this one way more regularly now again when I mix it with the bronzer. And since I'm gonna work so hard to finish that bronzer, I'll definitely continue reaching for this one. But it is a product that I don't think that I'm going to finish this year, just because I was struggling with it so much when I first rolled it in. But I'm going to keep working on it, and my goal with this will be to at least hit pan on it before the end of the year. I just get as far as I can with it, but similar to the blush, I do think this one is going to hang around until the very end. By the way, I'm just going to mention quickly, I have mentioned this in some other videos too. You can hear it now. My baby is here with me, my daughter. She is refusing naps at the moment unless I hold her, so I am trying to manage filming, and I have to have her in the room. And she's also in a bit of a talkative stage at the moment, so you might hear that. I will try to edit out as much as I can. There you go. Yes, baby girl. I will try to edit it out as much as I can, but you know, I'm doing my best, so hopefully it's not too distracting. I know I mentioned it in the last couple of videos, but it's just the phase we're in. Hopefully, you know, in a week or two or something like that, she will go back to sleeping in her crib again during the days, so I can get my filming done with a little bit more of a quieter background. Then the last product that has been in for 7 months as well is this product right here, which is my Stila eyeshadow, which I worked on last year and I continue working on this year. I already had a pan on it from last year, and I had 56 uses rolling over from that year as well. So I did some really good damage on it in 2024. I have since then kind of slowed down with this product. I think I was a bit fed up with it, and that's still kind of the case. I am trying to get as much use out of it as I can, but I'm just really struggling with this shadow. I was really determined to get this done before the end of the year, but we'll see how far I can get. I am doubting it more and more if I can actually finish this one. I might end up having to declare this at the end of the year, but we'll just have to see how it goes. This is what it looked like last month. I did actually end up repressing this one as well in the past month. I do believe I took some footage of that, so I can insert that here if I did. But it basically looks all the way full again. If you do look from the sides, you can see that it is definitely lower, but it's just so much product left in here still that it did discourage me a little bit. I have reached this one 6 times in the last month, and this is what it looks like today. So I was hoping to re-hit pan in this in the last month, but I have not gotten there. It's definitely more firm now since repressing it, because I did take out some of the binder, so those 6 uses did unfortunately not get me there. So yeah, this is the product now. You can see that there is a dip there in the center. I mainly use this one as an inner corner highlight. I'm wearing it that way today as well. I have it on top of something else though. But yeah, I do wear this one when I remember, but it's just, I think it's a product that I have almost given up on. I do again try to reach for it as much as I can, but yeah, since I think that I'm not going to be able to finish this before the end of the year, I have again kind of tried to, like, I have kind of given up on it, but it is still a really pretty shade. It's a really sparkly, beautiful, beautiful shade, and I think if I didn't have so many indie kind of shifty, sparkly shimmers, this would be an absolute amazing shadow to reach for, but I used to have better kind of sparkly shadows in my indie single collection, so that is kind of what I'm prioritizing, and that is why this one is getting neglected. But 6 uses is really good. It's actually my second highest month this year. I had 7 uses one month, but otherwise it is my highest usage month, and I will continue doing that, try to get between 5 and 10 uses per month at least, until the finale of this project. And if I haven't finished it by then, which will probably be the case, I will declutter it at the end of the year. So the rest of the products in this project has definitely been in for a short amount of time, and we're going to start off with this product right here, which is my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, and this is in the shade Natural 05. It has been in for 4 months in the project, and it is a little bit deep for me, so it hasn't been the easiest to reach one out towards the end, but it was really nice for me in summer. It was nice to mix with my lighter foundations to make them a little bit darker. I didn't end up getting the biggest tan this year because I didn't spend that much time outside since I had a newborn at the time, but I did get a little bit of tan, so this definitely helped, again, kind of color correcting my foundation. It's not the best undertone for me. It's definitely more pink toned than I am. I'm definitely more neutral to warm undertoned. So again, it wasn't the easiest, but I'm happy to say that I have actually finished this one up in the past month. It took me 32 additional uses to finish it, so I did reach for this one every single day. I did my makeup. I even, you know, did my makeup twice sometimes for filming and stuff like that. I've had a really good makeup month actually, because I had visitors over, and I've been filming a bit more, stuff like that. So yeah, but you can see now if I'm pressing this, I've even like squeezed it out, and there's like nothing coming out. So it is now done after 32 additional uses, and it took me 83 in total to finish it. I do have some marks here, but I didn't mark it every single update, and the one from last update is also rubbed off a little bit. But yeah, very, very happy that this one is done, because it really didn't suit me the best. So I haven't been loving my makeup recently when finishing this, so it ended up being a little bit of a hate pan towards the end, mainly because of the undertone of the foundation. So I'm very, very happy that it is now out. The next product I want to talk about is actually a lip product. It's actually the first time in a long time that I'm including lip products in this project, just because I lessened the amount of lip products in my lip product apocalypse so that I can include them in projects like this, which has been really, really nice. And the product I have to talk about is my Dior Lip Glow, which is more of a lip balm type of formula. This one has now been in for 3 months, and I do reach for this one as much as I can. But I'm not reaching for lip products nearly as much as I used to, again, because of my baby. Sorry to sound like a broken record. She has really switched up my life quite a lot. So this one I have, like I said, reached for as much as I can. I reached for it 5 times the first month it was in the project, then 14, and this past month I reached for it 16 additional times. And unfortunately, it's not done. It would have been a product that would be nice to finish before the end of Q3, but I did not quite get there. But you can see that it's getting very, very small, and I definitely think this one will be done by next update. When I look down here as well, some of this is actually the plastic, so this is really all I have left if you look like above the plastic kind of container, or like where it's housed in. So I do definitely think this one will be done by next update if I keep reaching it, you know, for it around like 15 times a month. And I do also have my progress lines right here for this lip product. You can see there in the middle of these 3 products where it has been. It does look like there's a lot of product left in here, but remember that the lipstick is slanted, so we'll go way quicker towards the end, and that is why I think I can finish it in the next month. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress. And again, I did reach for this one 16 times in the past month. The last 3 products that are in the project rolled in last update. I did have a good update last month with 3 empties, and the first of those 3 products is another powder. This here is the Kosas Cloud Set powder in the shade Comfy, which is again a little tiny bit deep for me, which is one of the reasons why I want to pan it. It's not as deep as the Chanel powder, but it's still a little bit deep for me. I'm rolling the footage now of what this one looked like last month, so you can see that it already has some progress on it. That was not from me actually. I did get this one decluttered to me, and it's probably not going to look very different today because this is what it looks like now. I have only reached for this one time, so really not much at all in the past month. So again, I'm not foreseeing you to see any difference really in this product. So yeah, this product I only reached for 1 time. The reason for that is because I did it did take me like the whole month to focus on the Chanel powder. I was expecting that to be done way earlier in the month, and that's kind of why I rolled this one in last month, so I couldn't have this one as my new kind of setting powder. But I am gonna reach for this one similarly how I'm reaching for the Chanel powder, kind of to set the perimeter of my face. I do use a loose like powder, like my Huda Beauty setting powder in this area here, but this is going to be the one I use to set like before I apply my bronzer and blush and stuff like that. So I do think this one is going to get a lot more use next month, because I am so close with the Chanel powder. But I won't focus on this one really at all until that point. Then the last 2 products that also rolled in last month were both eyeshadows. They were both single eyeshadows, like magnetic singles, and they're both in the eyeshadows as well. So the first one is this one right here, which comes from Luxie, and it is the shade Ube, which is this beautiful kind of lavender purple type of shade that goes into a green to a UV kind of shift. It is really pretty, and I have fallen in love with this shadow quite a lot. As you can see, I didn't really have very much left in it because this shadowed on its way to me, but this is what it looks like today. I reached for this one 5 times in the last month. I don't know how different it's going to look because I've actually had to like repress this back down a couple of times in the last month since I introduced it. So yeah, this is what it looks like now. Like I said, I have had to repress it a couple times. This one was sent to me from one of my subscribers, Kiora, and it did shatter in transit, which was unfortunate, but I saved as much as I could out of it. But I'm also trying to finish it up because of that, because I feel like these are some easy kind of give me products because they already have so much product gone. I did reach for, like I said, 5 times in the past month, and I have really been enjoying this shadow. I'm going for like a purpley look today. I've done a lot of purpley looks recently because of my project level up, which is the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, but also because of the shadow that is in my Panda palette in order. So I pair this one a lot with that, but I'm not wearing it today. But I do try to make an effort to reach for this one as much as I can. It has not been like the biggest focus in the last month. The next shadow I'm going to talk about, I wanted to focus on more, but I think before next update I will reach for this one a little bit more. Maybe I'll try to finish it by next update. I think that might be possible since there really isn't much product left in here. I do think I have maybe like 10 users left in here, but we're just gonna have to see, maybe 10 to 15 users, so I could technically finish it in a month, but I might like it roll over to 2 months until I finish this. We'll see. I'm not gonna force it because I do really enjoy it, and I don't want to like, you know, force myself to finish it earlier. I kind of want to reach for this one organically and enjoy it while I still have it in my collection. Then the second shadow that we have is right here. It comes from Shine by SD, and it is one of their, what is it called, the Sparkle Lights collection shadows, and it is the shade here called Tease. Similarly to Ube, this one was already kind of very low. It also shadowed in transit, so it didn't have very much left in it. This has been my main focus, and I reached for this one 7 times in the past month, and this is where it is today, or should I say where it isn't, because I was actually able to finish this one in the last month. I really expected that anyway because I was so low, and I'm happy that I got 7 uses out of it and I got to play around with the shadow. I really loved it. It was this kind of cool toned shadow with a lot of multicolored sparkles in it, and it paired really nicely with the shadows I was focusing on in my Panda palette. So yeah, we do have an eyeshadow empty, which is so exciting. And if you watched my Panda palette update yesterday, you would have seen that I actually finished some shadows in there too. So I've had some really good days this past month I actually finished, I'm not gonna say how many, but I finished quite a few shadows this specific month, which was very, very exciting. And again, this one was definitely a Give Me product, but since it came shadowed similar to Ube, I wanted to get some use out of it, and I thought, why not, you know, reach for it a couple times over and over. Even if that means finishing the shadow, at least I can try it out. I think Ube isn't available anymore. I think Luxie kind of disappeared from like the beauty space, but Shine by SD is still around, and I believe the shadow is still around, so I could repurchase it. I have some other shadows from the Sparkle Lights collection in my collection, so I might pick this one up. If I do order from Shine by SD in the near future, I will pick this one up, but I do feel it will take quite a while, because if you checked out my, or if you're following my shadow bank, you might know why. But again, if I do order from Shine by SD in the future, I might pick up a new version of this, because I did really enjoy the shadow. So those are all the products that I have in this project, and if you keep in count, I do have 2 empties this month. I do have that shadow that I just talked about, and then we have the Bare Minerals foundation. So these 2 are finished, so I'm going to go ahead and replace them. So I'm going to share with you what I decided to roll in their place. So first up, we have a product that I'm wearing right now. I haven't worn it all year, but it is on my products I want to pan this year list, so I do really want to get some use out of it before the end of the year, even if I'm not able to finish it fully. And that is this product right here. So this is another lip product. This is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Loyalist. So again, like I said, I am wearing this one on my lips. I did actually reapply some, but my camera didn't catch it because it stopped recording, but it is a little bit light, as you might be able to see, than the lip color that I have on it, and that is because I am wearing it on top of a deeper lip color, and that's kind of how I like reaching for this one, because it is so light. I'm not sure if this is going to be the most fun lip product to follow along like panning, because it is opaque packaging, so you can't see through it, and I also can't, like, I don't know, I can't measure it on a piece of paper or anything, but the only thing I can do is like swirl the wand around, and you might be able to see that there's a lot of wiggle room in there, so I think I am doing some really good damage to it. The wand still comes up with a lot of product though, so I do definitely have product left in here, but yeah, we'll see. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to finish this one before the end of the year or not, but either way, I'm just excited to work on this one, because again, it is on my to pan list for the year. Then the second product I'm introducing, and the last product in the project for now, is actually a brand new project, but it's also a product I've had in this project several times over. If you have any guesses, let me know what you think it could be down below, but it is one of my Becca Under Eye brightening correctors, and this is in the shade light to medium. I do believe this is my last backup actually, but since rolling this one out, because I was working on another one of these earlier this year, and since rolling it out, I have not been including it in my routine, but I do miss it. And this one again is brand new. It's still in its packaging. This one I actually bought from TK Maxx. It was very, very well discounted, as you might be able to see. They put these ones out really discounted when Becca was going out of business, so I got this one for £5, which is amazing. And that's why I've had so many backups, but again, I do believe this is my last one. And like I said, this one is completely brand spanking new, so I'm excited to work on this one, and I do think it's one that I want to start working for soon, because I did pick these ones up quite a long time ago. Again, if you remember how long ago Becca went out of business, that is when I picked these ones up. But another reason why I'm introducing this one is because I want to have it in this project from the very beginning to see just how long it takes to finish this one, because it is, you know, brand new, and I can track every single use that I do in it. So that's why I'm introducing this one, and I'm really, really excited to track along. I have no plans to finish this one this year, but if I can't finish it this year, I will roll it over to next year and continue tracking the panning, and that way I can let you know exactly how many times it takes to finish one of these, at least for me. So those are all the products that I'm introducing. Let me talk you over the goals for next month and which products I think that I can finish. So I have 3 products I want to focus on for next month. The first one I mentioned was Ube, which was the eyeshadow that I have in the project. I'm not going to force this one, but if I can finish it, that would be really nice. So that's going to be the first product. And then the 2 that I will definitely try to finish is, first up, my Chanel powder. I don't have very much of this one, and I'm hoping it's going to be done within like the next 10 to 15 uses. And then the second product that I definitely want to try to finish is my Dior lip glow. I do think I can do that. So if you can hear some noises, by the way, I had to pick up my little girl because she's definitely fussy, but I'm so close to finishing this video, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up before she gets too upset. But this is the last part that I definitely want to try to finish, so by next update I should have at least 2 empties, if not 3. This one and the Chanel powder I definitely will have out 100%, no matter what it takes. I'm gonna have those 2 out. So that is gonna be it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed it despite the distracting noises. Let me know what the most recent product that you finished was. My most recent empty was the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. I finished that one up yesterday, so very recent. But yeah, let me know what your most recent makeup empty was. And other than that, I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys!